Hello friends, welcome to my channel once again, and today I'm going to teach you a very basic form of SPSS testing that is called testing the reliability of the data that you have collected from the field. Basically what happens is that when you have a set of data, first you need to see whether the data is reliable or not. So how do you do that? Let me illustrate a simple example. For instance, you have designed a questionnaire in order to know customer perception of buying behaviors of electronic items. So once you have designed a questionnaire, then you go for a pilot testing, and then you have a set of data that you have collected from the field that surveyed customers' perception of buying behavior of electronic products. So first of all, what your experts will ask is that whether your questionnaire was reliable in order to be further considered for the data collection process. So what you have to do is that once you do a pilot testing, you need to check whether your questions are reliable. What are the problems that you have faced during the questionnaire, as well as to test if what data you have collected is reliable or not. So friends, I have bought this Google in a supermarket in Guwahati. So I want to also show my Google to you so that you can also buy from super. So without making much delay, I will show you how to do a reliability test using your data set through SPSS. Okay, the term is called Cronbach Alpha. It is the most widely used reliability test in order to test your questionnaire or reliability score of a set of question data that you have included in the questionnaire. So here we go. This is the SPSS data I have. So I have already collected 50 samples in order to test my reliability score, whether this questionnaire is whether this questionnaire has a set of questions that is reliable in order to be used for my further data collection process. So I have done a pilot testing with a number of respondents totaling 50, and here I have a set of many variables that I want to show you. First of all, the data was collected in order to know how respondents react with uses of various electronic banking services such as ATM, credit card, debit card, internet banking, mobile banking, RTGS, NEFT, immediate payment system, PC banking, cash deposit machines, M-Paisa, and other variables that I have included in order to identify which variables are strong predictors of those electronic banking uses are easy to use, time-saving, useful app. Together use 33 items, and in order to find also the factors that inhibit people from using electronic banking or technology banking services, I have included a number of factors which are I am not aware. There is a transaction risk associated with use of electronic banking. Cost of transaction is very high. The electronic banking usage is not secure. It is not reliable, not convenient. It is not comfortable. English, I am not familiar with English language. Mobile device or electronic device or personal banking devices such as computer are complex to use. I don't have a mobile device, I don't have a personal computer, I don't have an ATM card, I don't have a debit card. The service cost is very high. Sensitive information needs to be provided. Machine risks, there is a machine risk. High failure of machines such as computer may break down, or the ATM might not work sometimes. or the chances of double payment while you using ATM or debit card in order to make payment, for making online shopping, technology fear. Some people might have a technology phobia. They might not use technology because they don't feel it is right, or they fear to use technology. Some people, it might not be necessary to use electronic banking. So for those people, I have included a factor that is, it is not necessary for me to use the services. My peers or my family members are not using. There is an increasing fraud in uses of technological based device that is inhibiting me from using this electronic device. The slow connection of internet in my place is not allowing me to use internet banking, and there is no support available from the banking perspective, from the banker's side, in order to use technology based banking services. And also I have included a factor that while using technological based banking deliverables, there is no human intervention. So intervention. So I might not, or my respondents might not feel very comfortable because there is no human intervention. Also, for those people who are using web interface and app interface, it might seem very difficult for users in terms of using the web or website or app of the banks or commercial or any other banks might be responsible for designing a difficult web or app interface for users. So I have included that as also as an inhibiting factor in determining customer usage of internet banking or other delivery channels. Also, no information or adequate information is available in the website or any other web channels. Also, some people might use internet cafe for transactions. So I have included also the factor that there is no internet cafe in my locality where I want to perform technology based banking services. Also, there are many demographic variables which I have included, such as age, education, occupation, bank account, and the type of account, whether it is a public bank account or private bank account, and also the gender, as literature says that gender is a very significant factor in determining electronic banking uses or technological based banking uses. So I have also included the computer knowledge of consumers, whether they are highly familiar with computer or they have low level of familiarity or they are not really aware of using computers. Basically, when I say computers, I mean personal computers. Also, marital status, whether the respondents are married or are still single. I am not going to ask them why are they single if they are not married. Okay, the income of the respondents, I have segmented income into various groups which can be viewed in level values, where I have given here less than 20,000, 20 to 40k, 40 to 60k, and greater than 60k. Also, the last factor I have included is level of English of the respondents, because most of the banks are providing technological based banking services in English language. So it is very essential that these questions be included in my questionnaire so that I know whether my consumers are very much familiar with English language or whether they have a very low level of familiarity with English language, or they are not really aware of English language and are only familiar with their native or local or the regional language. So these are the set of questions I have in the questionnaire. So if you see the number, it starts from 2. So total altogether I have 83 set of variables for which I need to test whether my questions are reliable in order to be considered for further or final data collection. It will also tell me whether I can go with those set of questions in order to be used in the research. So first of all, in order to test the reliability, what you have to do is first go to analyze in the SPSS, and then you have to hover over scale where you have another options. When you click this as reliability analyze, this is the final click which you have to give in order to input your data for further testing. So let's go ahead and see what pop-up comes when we click this reliability analysis. So here it goes. We have here the reading in the left corner as mentioned all the variables that I have. Together I have told you that I have 83 variables, but first make sure one thing, that you cannot input all the variables at once in the input. In the right hand corner we have here the items that you're going to test, and the right corner, extreme corner, you have here the statistics. We won't be using any of this right now. First of all, we have just to test whether these variables have a good reliability score. So the term that we will get in the output is known as Cronbach Alpha. Before it was also known as KMO test, something in that. So first of all, I have a set of data that intends to measure the technological based services which consumers are using. So I have incorporated these variables in a single set of questions. So I will be testing from question number 1. In question number 1, I have these variables which I am selecting. Is you can see the cursor, I have been moving till the last variable included in my question number 1, and I am transforming these variables into the items. So the model is here alpha, and then I click OK. Here you can see the number of valid cases. This is the summary of the output. We have total, I have 50 respondents, out of that 6 is excluded, and the number of valid cases I have here is 42. And the final file which I have here is the reliability statistics, where I can see here that in the left corner there is a Cronbach Alpha score, and it's reading me, giving me a numerical value of 0.726, and the number of items that I have measured is 11. As I have told you that in question number 1 I have 11 items. So now let me give you a basic idea of the table of Cronbach Alpha. What does it say when the result is giving me a numerical value of 0.726? Let us see which value is good, acceptable, poor, questionable, or excellent. Let us go to the data now, where I can find which value is appropriate for me to be considered in order to have a good Cronbach Alpha score. So here it goes. This is the table which says that if I have an alpha value of less than 0.5, then I must consider that data set to be unacceptable. Whereas the other reading says that when I have an alpha score of 0.6 and lying between 0.6 and 0.5, then the data set should be considered to be very poor. Either I need to change my questions or check whether the respondents have been able to answer the questions properly. Other reading says when I have a value of 0.7 to 0.6, then it is questionable. The other value says if I have a value of 0.8 to 0.7, then it is acceptable. Whereas on the other hand, if I have a value lying between 0.9 to 0.8, it is considered to be good. So in the final reading, we have alpha value greater than 0.9 is considered to be excellent. This is a table that we need to consider in order to see whether my questions in the questionnaire are consistent enough to measure what I am trying to measure through my objective. So friends, viewers, let us go again back to the result and see the score. Here it says my value is 0.726. So if you go by the reading here, which says that my value is a bit greater than 0.76, or which also says that my data or the questionnaire or questions I have included in my first question, or the variables that I have included in the first question, is acceptable because it's exceeding more than 0.7. So it is acceptable. Next, we again go to scale and then click data. Now we want to check the next question, where I have included almost 33 variables in order to find out or determine why consumers think they are using technological based banking deliverable. So I have a total of 33 variables here, and I want to check whether the consistency of these variables is acceptable, good, excellent, or unacceptable and very poor. If I click OK, then I will get the output result. Here we have the crash processing summary here, which says that 38 cases are valid in my data and the remaining 12 have been excluded because either they might not be field data or there is a missing value over there. So the reliability statistics in this case we have achieved is 0.878. If we go to the reading table here, it is increasing more than 0.8, which means that the internal consistency of this data is good. Next, friends, let us go to a set of different questions once more. As I have told you, I have a set of questions which I have included. Let's reset this once again, and now I want to check whether my question number 3, where I have inputted different variables in order to know the inhibiting factors to determine technology-based banking deliverables adoption by consumers. So there are a set of 29 variables here, as I have explained in my former part. Here I am putting these variables and then OK. So here 27 cases are valid, excluded cases, number of cases is 23. So I have 54% valid response rate. Here I am getting a very good alpha value, which is 0.928, and I am measuring altogether 29 items, which means that it is greater than 9, or it says it is excellent questions that I have incorporated in the questionnaire, and it's really consistent. Next is I want to check whether my demographic variables are even reliable. That is not necessary. Sometimes experts suggest that it's not necessary to test the demographic variables, but still let's make it a point to check even the demographic variables. So here, as we include my demographic variables, I can click OK here. Here it's giving a poor, see, this is how it comes. I am measuring 10 items and here it's valid. Either it's repetitive or the questions, but this is not necessary, friends. This all I have already achieved what I want to achieve, because I have already tested all my variables that I have incorporated to be acceptable, good and excellent. So viewers, thank you so much for watching my video. I would request you guys to please subscribe my video so that I can have more number of viewers. Each time I will be uploading new video. Once you subscribe, there will be a notification sent to you through your email that I have uploaded a new video. I want to bring new concepts in statistics so that my fellow researchers can incorporate in their study. And in case if you have any doubt, please feel free to comment in my comment box. I will try to respond to your comments and clarify your doubt. Thank you guys. Please subscribe my video. Thank you.